Most well-read individuals know of the famous J.R.R. Tolkien, creator of many amazing works, the most famous of which being Lord of the Rings. However, he notoriously borrowed a lot from pre-existing ideas, such as Norse mythology and religious texts. Today, Tolkien is considered a literary genius. But, should he also be considered a plagiarist? Whoa, okay guys, alright, just calm down. Hear me out. What is that? Hello once again and welcome to Cinema Dissections. Today I will be discussing a topic I've wanted to cover for a long time. Let me preface this by saying that I consider this video fun speculation, but also exploring an important topic. There won't be any answers, just differing points of view, if that makes any sense. So what is the difference between an idea being explored in a new way and simply ripping off someone else's work? Where do you draw the line on something being inspired or stolen? In recent years, theaters have been overrun with a flood of remakes. Few of these have been any good, and most can be considered cash grabs on the rising popularity of nostalgia and popular works. So would these films be considered plagiarism or the evolution of an idea? In my opinion, each interpretation has to be judged individually and accordingly. For example, many would consider the 2014 remake of RoboCop to be a mindless cash grab, and I honestly can't argue with that statement. There was little evolution of the idea, nothing new was added, and it basically was just a retread of the original story. However, isn't that the exact description of a remake? Why would we expect anything different? Although now we are debating the difference between a remake and a reboot, which is a totally separate topic for another time. Let's take a look at another very different example. The 2013 Evil Dead. I've been a big fan of the Evil Dead franchise for a few years now, so when I learned of the 2013 remake, I was skeptical at best. Having watched it, I can't say I love it, although I do feel like it was just made to cash in on the Evil Dead name. As much as I would love to hate on it for changing everything that was good about the original, by doing just that, they're attempting to evolve the concept. Sure, many of the same themes and names were used, but it was taking the idea in a different direction. What if Evil Dead was serious instead of comedic? What if there were different characters? What if there was no Bruce Campbell? Yes, I know, blasphemy. So did it suck? Yeah, kind of, but you have to give them points for trying to evolve the idea, even if it didn't need it. In most cases, I would prefer that they put a new spin on an idea when remaking it, rather than just doing the same thing all over again, except poorly. Other movies have done this as well. No, just no. I'm not even touching that. But what about general concepts? Zombies have been huge for a long time now, and year after year we get countless zombie movies that bring nothing new to the table. Every once in a great while we get a fresh take on them, but it honestly feels like cinematic inbreeding. Every time you go in to watch a zombie movie, you know how it's going to go. Scenes and effects are identical to other zombie movies, and there's nothing left to surprise you. This is why I like zombie movies where the zombies are not necessarily the main focus. They're simply part of the story. But I digress. On a similar note, while we're talking about zombies, my movie. I would like to think it's an evolution of the zombie concept, but in all honesty, I didn't really do much that hadn't already been done before. I basically just wrote fan fiction. Trust me, I'm aware, and I'm fixing it. So, how much does something have to be changed before it's considered new, or as I call it, evolved? For many years, the action movie genre was filled with
manly men
shooting guns and blowing stuff up. Names like Stallone, Van Damme, and Schwarzenegger evoke these types of images. But let me ask you this, wouldn't they be considered plagiarizing each other? Shoot guns, kill the bad guy, spout one-liners. It's all very cool. However, in the end, they're all doing the same things. So is the idea of a grizzled action hero just an archetype that belongs to no one? At what point do we draw the line on plagiarism? When does something become public domain, or an idea so general anyone can use it? I mean, what if after everyone saw A Trip to the Moon, what many consider the first science fiction film, that since they used spaceships, no one else can use that idea, otherwise they're stealing? We would have missed out on so much. Star Trek, Doctor Who, Star Wars, and so much more. My point is, plagiarism is something that should be avoided, of course, but not something that inhibits you. It should be seen as a warning, but not always a death sentence. And as an audience, we shouldn't always look at it as a sign of lack of thought. Old ideas can be done in new ways, and taken in different directions. We just have to remain open-minded, while also calling out those who put in no effort into their work. And here's an even better question. What happens if you accidentally plagiarize something? In all the time that our species has been around, we've told stories. Then with the invention of television and film, new stories could be created at a faster and faster rate. The emphasis here being on new. But have we approached a point of creative stagnation? Don't get me wrong, there will always be new ideas out there. But have we reached a point in time where everything has already been done, at least once? It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But I had an English teacher in high school who often answered this question with a profound yes. I mean, short of mixing and matching random things in order to get new ideas, are all coherent ideas already explored? I mean, even the crazy stuff is getting worn out now. Here is a movie about a sentient, malevolent bong that traps its users in a surreal nightclub with killer strippers. You just can't make this stuff up. Why does this exist? There are so many absolutely bizarre films out there that at this point, no matter what you can think up, there's at least one movie out there that's already done it. Okay, so obviously this is an issue I struggle with. I can't tell you how many scripts I've written only to turn on the TV and see the same idea being done by someone else. I used to just delete those scripts, because what's the point? Even when I'm trying to write something original, I know when I put it up online, I'll just be accused of ripping off someone else, whether I knew about them or not. However, recently I have adopted a new mindset. And to bring this back to a general discussion, I'll explain my solution in a way that could work for any situation. You have to make it your own. Whether what you're making is original or not, inspired or brand new, or even if you're adapting someone else's work, you have to put your own spin on it. Bring something to it only you can. That is what makes it unique. It's about imagination. Going back to Tolkien, I don't consider his work plagiarism. He may have borrowed many things to make his vast fantasy world, but he had a vision, a world he made his own. He didn't take from other works to use it as a crutch, but as inspiration, to expand his universe. Ultimately, it's this unique combination of elements that makes it stand on its own. Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining is more popular than any other filmed version because he brought something special to it. He made it the way he wanted to make it, and because of that, it captured the world's imagination. He made it his own. Film is a form of art, and all art is about self-expression. So no matter what you create, you have to put yourself into it. So there are my thoughts on the evolution of ideas and plagiarism and all that. Be sure to let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. I'm always open to new ideas and perspectives, so please feel free to share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching.